A week before the college entrance exam, I specifically asked my parents to leave 50 rooms vacant in our family hotel, offering them free of charge to my classmates. When the exam results came out, our class monitor Chen Yinyan performed terribly. She led the entire class in spreading rumors online, claiming that our hotel deliberately carried out construction work in the middle of the night just to sabotage her chances of getting into college. The post went viral on social media. The hotel was reported and forced to shut down. My parents lost all their savings, and their hair turned gray overnight. From start to finish, not a single one of the 50 classmates who stayed at my family's hotel stepped forward to say a fair word. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the week before the college entrance exam. My parents were discussing, "Sweetheart, the exam is coming up soon. Should we reserve rooms for your classmates?" I put down my chopsticks. No need, not a single room. Mom and Dad were stunned, but this is the only hotel nearby. All the other inns are 5 kilometers away. I smiled. That's perfect. I stood at the classroom door, looking at the familiar faces inside, a wave of nausea rising in my stomach. I clearly remember that in my past life, when my family was slandered across the internet and reported until our business was shut down, not a single one of these people stepped forward to say a fair word. Chen Yinyan took the lead in posting online, claiming that my family's hotel was under construction in the middle of the night, deliberately creating noise just to prevent her from getting into university. The post received tens of thousands of likes, over 10,000 shares, and stayed on the trending list for 2 whole days. My parents have never offended anyone in their lives. They are honest, ordinary business people. During those 2 days, the hotel's phone lines were overwhelmed, with calls coming in non-stop, all for cancellations and abuse. Officials from the Culture and Tourism Bureau came to investigate, and the Housing and Urban Rural Development Bureau sent people to measure noise. Some even went to the hotel entrance to hang protest banners. My father's hair turned mostly gray overnight, and my mother cried so much she nearly lost her sight. In the end, the hotel was ordered to suspend operations for rectification. Between fines, refunds, and contract terminations, our family's savings were completely wiped out. I pulled myself back from my thoughts and stepped into the classroom. The classroom was buzzing with noise, as small groups of students discussed the college entrance examination. Some are checking answers, some are flipping through books, and some are chatting about where to go after the exam. I walked to my seat and sat down, hanging my bag on the side of the desk. Zhao Xiaoma, sitting in the front row, turned around and smiled at me. "Jiang Yu, have you finished your homework?" In her past life, she stayed in the most expensive suite in my house, which my mom specially changed for her, saying that a girl should live comfortably. Not only that, she had 3 days of free breakfast. Later, when people were cursing me online, she said nothing. I glanced at her but didn't respond. Seeing that I wasn't talking, Zhao Xiaoma didn't mind and turned back to chat with the person next to her. The class monitor, Chen Yinyan, walked over to my desk. "Jiang Yu, you're here." I looked up at her. "Chen Yinyan, my good friend, we had been deskmates since the first year of high school. On weekends, I often took her to my home. My mom would cook delicious food for her, and my dad would drive her home. I know her family isn't well off, so I always insisted on picking up the tab." She said she had never been to a 5-star hotel, so I took her to my family's hotel to swim and have a buffet, without letting her spend a cent. I thought we were friends. Turns out she was the first to spread rumors about my family. "What's wrong?" Chen Yinyan tilted her head to look at me, a hint of confusion in her eyes. "You don't look well. Didn't get enough sleep." "It's nothing." My voice was flat. Chen Yinyan sat down next to me, put her school bag away, then naturally leaned over and lowered her voice. "Jiang Yu, where are you staying for the college entrance exam?" In my previous life, that was how it all began, staying at my own family's hotel, I said. Chen Yinyan's eyes lit up. "That's great. Your hotel is just 5 minutes from the exam hall. You don't even have to wake up early. I envy you so much. You don't have to spend any money. Didn't the school arrange accommodation? Just stay at school." Chen Yinyan was taken aback, probably not expecting me to say that. "Staying at school is very far away." Chen Yinyan frowned. "The school is in the east of the city, and the exam center is in the west. Going there in the morning means at least an hour less of sleep. An hour less. This is the college entrance exam. Can your mental state really be the same with an hour less of sleep?" She spoke very seriously. "Then you could go to bed earlier," I said. Chen Yinyan choked for a moment. She glanced at me, a hint of something unspoken in her eyes. "But," She bit her lip. If there's a better choice, why settle for a worse one? Your hotel is just 5 minutes from the exam center. It would be great if everyone could stay there. We're all classmates, so we should help each other out, help each other out. I've heard that phrase way too many times in my past life. It was this very sentence that made me think I should help. I am the squad leader's best friend, and my family owns a hotel, so why wouldn't I help? I did help. Then what? The class bell rang. I didn't answer Chin. I stood up directly, took my textbook, and walked to the other side of the podium. I found an empty seat in the back row and sat down. Chin turned around and glanced at me. I lowered my head and opened my textbook. The Chinese teacher walked in and began explaining the key points for writing the essay. I didn't take in a single word. My mind was completely filled with those images. Anger and resentment burned like two fires in my chest all morning long. Every time I looked up and saw those familiar faces, I was reminded of their silence online. 50 faces. I looked at them one by one, memorizing each in my heart. No one stepped forward. The bell for the end of morning classes rang, and the classroom instantly erupted into a buzz. Some packed their bags, some made plans to go to the cafeteria, and others discussed what would be on the afternoon exam. I slowly packed my things, in no hurry to leave. Sure enough, the complaints began. So annoying. The school arranged accommodation in the east of the city, but the exam venue is in the west. I have to get up at 6 in the morning, losing an hour of sleep. The one speaking was Li Xiuan, a male student sitting in the third row. He slung his backpack over his shoulder with such force that the entire classroom could hear it. Exactly, there are people snoring in the dorm too. I already have trouble sleeping. If I can't sleep well before the college entrance exam, then what's the point of even taking it? Lin Siki chimed in. She's well known in our class for being a light sleeper. Last time during the spring outing at the hotel, she complained all night about the air conditioner noise from the next room. If only I could have a room to myself, quiet, and I could sleep whenever I want. Wang Hao leaned back in his chair, crossing his legs. Exactly. Lu Yutong slapped the textbook onto the desk. The problem is that most of the nearby hotels are too far away. It takes over 10 minutes even by taxi. Plus, there's bound to be traffic jams during the 2 days of the college entrance exam. What if we're late? It would be great if there were a hotel near the school. Yeah, it would be nice if there were a hotel right next to the exam venue, the kind you can reach in 5 minutes. As they talked, their gaze began to drift toward me in unison. I was looking down, pretending to pack my school bag, but I knew they were watching me. I pretended not to hear, zipped up my bag, and walked out through the aisle beside me. Behind me came a murmur of whispers, but I didn't look back. As I walked out of the classroom door, I heard Zhao Xiaoma say, "What's wrong with Jiangyu today? Her complexion looks terrible. Didn't she sleep well?" Then came Chen Yinyan's voice, soft and gentle. "It might be the pressure from the upcoming college entrance exam." Listen, how considerate of her. The corner of my mouth twitched, and I quickened my pace as I headed downstairs. The cafeteria was crowded. I got my meal and found a corner to sit down. Eating alone felt a bit strange. I used to eat with Chen Yinyan, sitting across from each other, chatting while we ate, as if we had endless things to say. Now that I think about it, how much of that endless chatter was her laying the groundwork, and how much was her scheming? I took a bite of rice, chewed it a couple of times, but there was no taste. In my past life, when did I start being nice to my classmates? It was probably during the sports meet in my first year of high school. I brought homemade snacks from home to share with everyone, and they all said it was delicious. The feeling of being liked by everyone was so wonderful that I got used to being nice to everyone, treating people to meals, giving birthday gifts, buying coffee for everyone before exams, and bringing classmates home on weekends. My parents never stopped me. In fact, they were very supportive, saying that classmates should help each other out, and that's exactly why they take it for granted that I should help them this time too. But the problem is, it's always been me helping, with no one helping in return. I helped for 3 years, but in the end, I didn't even get a single fair word in return. After finishing my meal, I cleared the dishes, took out my phone, and called my mom. The phone rang twice before she picked up, and my mom's voice was warm. "Yu, have you eaten?" "Yes, Mom." I leaned against the cafeteria pillar, lowering my voice. "I wanted to ask, have the rooms at our hotel for the 2 days of the college entrance exam been booked?" "Yeah, they're booked," my mom said cheerfully. "You don't know, as soon as it was released, it was fully booked, all 50 rooms reserved, and there were still many people calling to ask. I told your dad whether we should free up The staff dormitory too, but he said forget it, don't disturb the employees' rest. 50 rooms, all booked. I was stunned for a moment, then couldn't help but laugh. In my previous life, these 50 rooms were left empty and offered to classmates for free. For this year, all of them have been booked, at full price, not a single room left. What's wrong, you? My mom asked. Does your classmate need a place to stay? If so, I'll try to coordinate and see if there are any cancellations. No need. Mom, don't save any for them, not a single room. My mom was silent for 2 seconds, probably digesting what I had said. After all, after 3 years, she knew better than anyone what my classmates were like to me. Suddenly saying there's no need to keep it. She would definitely find it strange. Really no need. She confirmed once more, really no need. All right then, my mom didn't ask further. Focus on your studies, don't push yourself too hard. After the exam, I'll take you out for some good food, okay? After hanging up the phone, I stood at the entrance of the cafeteria and soaked up the sun for a while. I let out a deep breath, then turned around and went back to the classroom. About 10 minutes later, the front door of the classroom was pushed open. I looked up and saw Chen Yinyan walking in, followed by Li Siyuan and Wang Hao. Chen Yinyan walked straight up to the podium. Classmates, wake up, I have something to say. Those who were lying on their desks slowly lifted their heads, looking at her groggily. I have something to tell everyone. Chen Yinyan stood on the podium. Regarding the accommodation arrangements for the college entrance exam, I just went to see our homeroom teacher, Mr. Zhang, and talked to him about what everyone was thinking. She paused and scanned the classroom. Teacher Zhang said that the college entrance exam is ultimately one's own affair. As long as you arrive at the exam venue on time, the school doesn't care where you stay. If anyone wants to book a hotel, you can arrange it yourselves. As soon as the words were spoken, a buzz filled the classroom. Some eyes lit up, others started whispering among themselves, and some showed expressions of relief. But Chen Yinyan shifted the topic, her tone turning a bit hesitant. As everyone knows, the hotels near the exam venue are quite expensive. The cheapest ones cost over 300 a night, and those are rundown little inns with poor conditions. For something with better conditions, it's at least 500 or more, but those are still 2 or 3 kilometers away. After saying this, her gaze naturally drifted in my direction. Not just her, everyone in the classroom turned to look at me. I rested my head on the desk, my chin pressed against my arm, staring back at her expressionlessly. Jiang Yu's family runs a hotel, Chen Yinyan said with a smile, and it's right next to the exam center, just a 5-minute walk. Everyone knows that Jiang Yu's family hotel is 5-star, with excellent conditions, costing over 1,000 per night. She paused for a moment after saying this. The classroom fell silent for about 2 seconds, the atmosphere growing somewhat subtle. A flicker of barely noticeable embarrassment crossed Chen Yinyan's face, but it was quickly masked by a smile. That's what I think. She lowered her voice a little. Nobody wants to sleep poorly during the college entrance exam. If better conditions were available, who wouldn't want them? Jiang Yu's family is so wealthy. There are only 50 of us in the class, and staying for 2 nights, it shouldn't be a big deal for her family, right? Yes. Zhao Xiaoma was the first to chime in, leaning forward from her seat. Jiang Yu, your family's hotel is so close to the exam venue. Staying for 2 nights won't be a big deal for you. We're all classmates. We should help each other out. Exactly. Li Siyuan continued. Jiang Yu, you're always so nice to everyone, so how about helping out this time too? The college entrance exam is such a big deal, you wouldn't want to see us mess it up just because we didn't sleep well, would you? Wang Hao also said. Yeah, Jiang Yu, your family isn't short on this little money, just think of it as doing a good deed. Everyone will remember your kindness. Jiang Yu, you're the best, just ask your aunt and uncle. Okay, it's empty anyway, so why not let classmates stay? We're not staying for free, we can help with publicity, like writing good reviews for the hotel. Right. We can advertise your family's hotel online. One after another, voices chimed in from all directions. Listening to these words, a slow smile crept across my lips. I slowly straightened up from the desk. The classroom gradually fell silent, everyone waiting for my answer. Chen Yinyan stood on the podium, tilting his head slightly as he looked at me, that gentle smile still lingering at the corners of his mouth. I stared at that face, at that gentle smile, and finally spoke. Sorry, our hotel is fully booked. The classroom fell silent for a moment, then it exploded. Reservations are full. how is that possible? Rooms for the 2 days of the college entrance exam are usually booked out a month in advance. It's normal. But we haven't booked yet. You never said you wanted to order, I said calmly. Chen Yinyan's smile froze on her face. She opened her mouth, then closed it again, with a look in her eyes that I had never seen before. Jiangyu, she stepped down from the podium and walked over to my desk, lowering her voice so much that only I could hear. Why didn't you say something sooner? I've been talking to the classmates for a while. I looked up at her, my gaze as calm as a stagnant pool of water. You didn't ask me either. Chen Yinyan's expression changed from anger to something indescribable. Her eyes reddened slightly, her lips pressed into a thin line, and she looked as if she was about to cry. Jiangyu, do you have a problem with me? Her voice trembled slightly. I feel like you've been avoiding me all day today. No, you're overthinking it. Why did you move to the back row? Haven't you always sat next to me? The front row was too noisy. Chen Yinyan froze, her entire body stiffening. She stared at me for several seconds, then turned and walked back to her own seat, without saying a word the whole way, and without looking back. The other students in the classroom were still buzzing with discussion. I lay back down on the desk, burying my face in my arms. My eyes felt a little hot, but I had no intention of letting anyone see. The first class in the afternoon was math, and I forced myself to focus on the lesson. I had already experienced the college entrance exam once in my previous life, so these knowledge points were not unfamiliar to me. However, I couldn't afford to let my guard down in this life. I want to do well, not to prove anything, but for myself. I don't want to end up like my last life, ruining my own future because of someone else's mistakes. During the break, Chen Yinyan didn't speak to me. She sat in her seat, lowering her head to flip through the textbook, occasionally saying a few words to the classmate beside her. Her voice was very soft, as if deliberately keeping her distance. I didn't mind. The last class before school ended was self-study. The homeroom teacher, Mr. Zhang, walked in. He was a middle-aged man in his 40s, with thinning hair and a pair of thick glasses, speaking slowly and methodically. Classmates, regarding accommodation for the college entrance exam, Nian Nian came to talk to me this afternoon. Teacher Zhang stood at the podium and adjusted his glasses. My stance is that where you stay is your own choice, as long as you're not late, but there's one thing I want to remind everyone, don't cause trouble for your classmates. As he said this, his gaze casually swept over me. I lowered my eyes, pretending to look at the exam paper. Jiang Yu's family runs a hotel, but that's their personal matter. Don't put pressure on them. You're all 18 now, old enough to know better. The classroom fell silent for a few seconds, then I heard Zhao Xiaoma mutter under her breath, we didn't say anything. Teacher Zhang ignored her and continued explaining the key points for the college entrance exam. I stared at the densely packed formulas on the exam paper, my heart a mix of emotions. Teacher Zhang was a good teacher. In my past life, he had also spoken up for me, when the online criticism was at its fiercest. He said in the class group chat, as far as I know, there's no construction noise from Jiang Yu's family hotel. But his words were quickly drowned out. No one listened to him, no one believed him. When the school bell rang, I packed up my things and got ready to leave. Chen Yinyan suddenly stood up, walked to the podium, and picked up the blackboard eraser. She turned back and glanced at me. On the way home, I sat on the bus, watching the street scenes outside the window slowly recede. My phone vibrated. It was a message from Mom. You, the person who booked the hotel today, called to say their itinerary has changed and cancelled 5 rooms. If your classmates need them, just let me know. I stared at this message for a long time, silent. I typed a few words and then deleted them, going back and forth several times, until finally replying with just one word, okay. The next morning, I went to school as usual. When I reached the school gate, I saw a crowd gathered around the bulletin board. Not knowing what they were looking at, I moved closer and saw a large handwritten poster pinned to the bulletin board. College Entrance Exam Study Group, Accommodation Needs Collection. The handwriting was beautiful, clearly written by Chen Yinyan. Below it, she had listed a table, stating that students in need of accommodation could register here, and she would help coordinate everything. Coordinate what? Coordinate whose hotel? I glanced at it and walked past without stopping. Entering the classroom, Chen Yinyan had already arrived and was sitting in her seat talking to Zhao Xiaoma. When she saw me come in, she lifted her eyelids to glance at me, then lowered them again to continue talking to Zhao Xiaoma. I've already contacted several hotels and negotiated a group rate, which is about 60% of the original price, but the hotels closest to the exam venue refuse to lower their prices because they have no trouble selling rooms. Anyway, Zhao Xiaoma said with a worried look. 60% off is still really expensive, 60% of over 300 is still over 200, and 2 nights would be over 500. My parents definitely won't be happy about that. There's nothing we can do about it, Qin Yanyan sighed. We can't just sleep on the street. I walked straight to the back row and sat down. This spot had a great view. I could see the entire classroom, as well as the plane trees on the playground outside the window. Qin Yanyan glanced back at me, then turned around again. The morning classes went by uneventfully. Everything was perfectly normal. The only thing out of the ordinary was that several people came to see me during the break. First, it was Zhao Xiaoma, Jiang Yu. She stood by my desk, holding a bag of chips, eating as she spoke. Is it really true that your hotel has no rooms left? I heard someone cancelled 5 rooms yesterday. Is that for real? News travels fast. I don't know. I didn't ask. Zhao Xiaoma pursed her lips. How could you not? No, that's your family's hotel. My parents are in charge. I only focus on my studies. Zhao Xiaoma was taken aback by my response, a half-eaten chip in her mouth, her expression a bit awkward. She stood still for 2 seconds, then turned and walked away. Then it was Li Xiyuan's turn. Jiang Yu. He leaned against the wall, hands in his pockets, looking completely at ease. I want to ask, can you save those 5 vacated rooms at your hotel for me? I can pay. I don't need them for free, just keep one for me. I looked up at him. Li Xiyuan, a guy from a well-off family, always wearing designer brands. It's not that he can't afford to stay in a hotel. He wants to stay in the best hotel while spending the least money. Just book at the front desk. You can also order online. Online prices are higher. Li Xiyuan smiled. I was just trying to pull some strings. Since you're the boss's daughter, you can give me a discount, right? Sorry, I don't have the authority. Li Xiyuan's smile faded a little. He looked at me for 2 seconds, said all right, and then walked away. Next came Wang Hao, Lu Yutong, and Lin Siki. One after another. The reasons varied, but the core was the same. Can you make it cheaper? Can you save a room? Can you help out? I didn't agree to any of them. At lunchtime, I sat alone in a corner of the cafeteria, with a plate of braised pork ribs and a bowl of seaweed egg drop soup in front of me. The ribs were stewed so tender that they melted in the mouth, but I didn't have much of an appetite. My phone vibrated again. This time, it was my dad calling. You. My dad's voice sounded a bit hoarse. Your mom said there was a checkout yesterday. Does your classmate need a room? If so, I'll keep it for them. No needed, Dad. I picked up a piece of spare rib and put it in my mouth, chewing slowly. Just sell it. No need to keep it. Really no need. My dad confirmed again. What if your classmate has nowhere to stay and it affects the college entrance exam? There. Your classmates, help if you can. Help if you can. That's just the kind of person my dad is. Kind-hearted his whole life, never once imagining that there could be such a thing as an ungrateful person in this world. In his past life, he gave all the best rooms to my classmates and lived in the staff dormitory himself. And what was the result? The hotel was reported until it was shut down. In just one night, the man in his 50s had all his hair turn white. Dad, they've already found a place to stay. No need to worry. That's good, that's good. My dad breathed a sigh of relief. Then study hard, and after the exam, I'll take you out for a big meal. Okay. After hanging up, I finished the rest of my meal, picked up the tray, and went to wash it by the pool. I ran into a girl from the neighboring class. She didn't know me, but I recognized her. In my past life, she was one of the few people who spoke up for me online. What was it she said? Something like, I'm from the class next door. During those 2 days of the college entrance exam, I stayed in that hotel too and didn't hear any construction noise. Then she received hundreds of hateful comments. They said she was bribed, that she was lying through her teeth, that she was a paid shill for the hotel. A high school sophomore girl was harassed into deleting her account. I rinsed my tray clean, placed it on the rack, turned around, and went back to the classroom. The first class in the afternoon was English, and I listened fairly attentively. In my previous life, I did well in English, but in this life, I want to do even better, not for anyone else, but for myself. During the break, Qin Yanyan walked up to the podium again. Classmates, I have something to tell you. Her voice sounded more confident than yesterday, as if she was announcing something significant. Of the hotels I contacted yesterday, one is willing to give us a 50% discount, but it's a bit far from the exam venue. About a 20-minute taxi ride. A chorus of Groans filled the classroom. It's 20 minutes away, that's too far. How much would it cost to take a taxi, round trip, plus accommodation? It'd be cheaper to just stay at the school. Exactly, and there's bound to be traffic on the day of the college entrance exam. A 20-minute trip could turn into an hour-long one. Chen Nianyan waited for everyone to quiet down before continuing. I think it's a bit far too, so I contacted another place. It's only 10 minutes from the exam venue. But it's more expensive, over 400 yuan per night even after the discount. Over 400, that's 900 for 2 nights. Too expensive, forget it, I'll just stay at school. Same here, staying at school saves money and trouble. Everyone gave up one after another. Chen Nianyan stood on the podium, a subtle expression on her face, her gaze drifted toward me again, as if expecting me to say something. I didn't say anything, I kept my head down, working on the English test paper, the tip of my pen rustling against the paper. Chen Nianyan stood there for a few seconds, then stepped down from the podium and returned to her seat. Before school ended, the homeroom teacher, Mr. Zhang, came again. He stood at the podium and went over the college entrance exam precautions once more, finally mentioning the accommodation arrangements. I've heard that some students are making arrangements to stay in hotels. Mr. Zhang's tone was neither here nor there. Let me say it again, where you stay is your own business, but don't cause trouble for others, especially don't cause trouble for your classmates' families. Their hotel is a business, not a charity. After saying this, he deliberately glanced at Chen Nianyan. Chen Nianyan lowered her head, her bangs covering half of her face, making her expression unreadable. After teacher Zhang left, the classroom was silent for a few seconds, then Zhao Xiaoma's voice rang out, not loud, but loud enough for everyone to hear. You make it sound like we're forcing Jiangyu into something. We just asked, that's all. It's not a big deal. Exactly, Lin Siki chimed in. Besides, Jiangyu's family is so rich, what's the harm in helping out a little? It's not like we're staying for free, we've already said we can help promote. Forget it. Lu Yutong said, we don't understand the world of the rich. Maybe she thinks people like us aren't worthy of staying in her family's hotel. That was a bit harsh, and the classroom fell silent for a moment. I was sitting in the last row, catching every single word that fell into my ears. My fingers gripped the pen tightly, the knuckles turning white from the strain. Not worthy of staying at her family's hotel. I put down the pen, took a deep breath, then stood up, grabbed my backpack, and walked out of the classroom. There was a murmur of whispers behind me, but I didn't look back. As I walked out of the school gate, I caught sight of a familiar figure. Teacher Zhang was standing at the school gate, chatting with the security guard. When he saw me come out, he waved his hand. Jiangyu, come here. I walked over and stood in front of him. Teacher Zhang looked at me, adjusted his glasses, and remained silent for 2 seconds before speaking. Are you okay? I was taken aback for a moment, then nodded. It's fine, don't listen to their nonsense. Teacher Zhang's voice was soft, but earnest. Your family running a hotel is your family's business, and it has nothing to do with your classmates. Helping them is a kindness, not helping them is your right. No one has the right to say anything about it. My nose suddenly felt a bit sour, and I quickly lowered my head. Thank you, Teacher Zhang. Go back now, study hard, and don't let it affect you. I nodded and turned to leave. After walking a dozen steps, I heard Teacher Zhang sigh behind me and say to the security guard, kids these days, how did they all turn out like this? I didn't catch what the security guard said, but I guessed he was probably agreeing. On the way home, I sat on the bus, put my earphones in, and randomly played a song. The music was so loud that it drowned out every sound in the train car. 3 days before the college entrance exam, school was dismissed. As I packed up my things and walked out of the classroom, I looked back. The countdown on the blackboard read 3 days until the college entrance exam. The chalk letters crooked and uneven, written by the student on duty that morning. Desks and chairs were moved around in a mess, with various review materials and used scratch paper scattered on the floor. I will never come back to this classroom again. Carrying my backpack, I walked out of the school gate. The sunlight was pleasant, warm on my face. My phone buzzed. It was a message from my mom. Yu, all 5 hotel checkouts have been sold, at full price, not a single one left. I stood at the school gate, typed a few words, then deleted them, and finally replied with just one word, okay. Just as I put my phone in my pocket, I heard a rush of hurried footsteps behind me. Jiangyu. I turned around and saw Chen Nianyan jogging up to catch up with me. She was wearing a white hoodie, her hair tied back in a ponytail, with a thin layer of sweat on her face. Her expression was somewhat urgent, and she nearly tripped as she ran over. She stopped about 2 steps away from me, bent over, and caught her breath for a moment. "Why are you walking so fast? I called you several times, but you didn't hear me." There was a hint of complaint in her voice. "I didn't hear you," I said. Chen Yanyan straightened up, glanced at me, and then bit her lip. "Jiang Yu, I want to talk to you." "About what?" "We're at least deskmates, friends. You've been avoiding me these past few days, and it really hurts." As she said this, her eyes reddened and her voice trembled slightly. She looked genuinely upset. I looked at her and suddenly found it utterly ridiculous. In my previous life, when my family's hotel was reported and shut down, she cried in front of the camera even more miserably than this. "Chen Yanyan, I wasn't avoiding you. Then why did you move to the back row? Why don't you eat with me anymore? Why can't you directly answer me when I ask about the hotel?" She asked 3 questions in a row, each one laced with grievance. I looked at her face, the face I had been looking at for 3 years, beautiful, gentle, and understanding. Every time I did poorly on an exam, she was the first to comfort me. Every time I was sick and had to take leave, she would copy the notes for me and bring them to my home. The friendship between us, in my view, is the kind that could last a lifetime. Yet it was this very person who personally destroyed my home. "Chen Yanyan," I spoke, my voice very calm. "I've already told you about the hotel. It's fully booked." "You asked me directly, and I gave you a straight answer. It's booked." "You don't believe me. What can I do?" Chen Yanyan was taken aback, her lips parting slightly, but no words came out. As for me sitting in the back row, I continued, "The front row is too noisy. I want to review in peace. As for meals, I want to eat alone." "Do I need to report all of this to you?" Chen Yanyan's face instantly turned pale. "Jiang Yu, that's not what I meant. I just what?" I interrupted her. "Just because my family is rich, I should offer you 50 rooms for free. Just because I'm your friend, I should handle everything for you. Just because if I don't help, it means I'm stingy, selfish, and unworthy of being your friend." Chen Yanyan took a step back, and the tears in her eyes finally fell. "I didn't think that way. I really didn't think that way." "You didn't think that way? Then what did you tell your classmates?" My voice involuntarily rose a little. "You stood on the podium and told the whole class that my family's hotel is right next to the exam venue, that my family is very wealthy, and that staying 2 nights is nothing to my family. How many times have I helped you? When have you ever helped me?" Chen Yanyan's tears fell even harder. She wiped them away with the back of her hand, her shoulders trembling. "Jiang Yu, I really didn't mean it that way. I just wanted to find a convenient place for everyone to stay. I had no other intentions." "If you wanted to find a convenient place for everyone, why did you have to bring my home into it?" Because your home is the closest, so I should do it for free." Chen Yanyan stopped talking, just crying. A few classmates passed by on the roadside, saw us talking, slowed down, and their eyes darted back and forth between us. I ignored those people, hitched my backpack higher on my shoulder, turned around, and walked away. "Jiang Yu," Chen Yanyan called out from behind. I didn't look back. When I got home, my mother was cooking in the kitchen. She was wearing a floral apron, her hair casually tied back, with a smile on her face. She's always like this, no matter how busy or tired she is. She smiles when she sees me. "Is you back? Go wash your hands. Mom made you pork rib soup." I changed my shoes and walked into the kitchen, giving her a hug from behind. Mom was startled by my sudden hug, and the spatula in her hand nearly fell into the pot. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. I just wanted to hug you." My mom smiled and reached out to pat the back of my hand. All right. Go wash your hands quickly. The soup is almost ready." I let go of her, went to the bathroom to wash my hands, and sat down at the dining table. My dad came out of the study, holding a stack of documents, with reading glasses perched on his nose. "Yu, I'll take you to the exam venue on the 2 days of the college entrance exam." "No need, Dad. I can go by myself. It's not far." "How can that be? The college entrance exam is such a big deal. Dad has to take you." My dad put the documents on the table, took off his reading glasses, and looked at me with eyes full of affection. Looking at his face, I thought of how he looked with a head full of white hair in my previous life, and my eyes suddenly reddened. "What's wrong?" My mom came out of the kitchen holding a bowl of soup, and was startled by the look on my face. "Yu, what's wrong?" "Nothing." I lowered my head and blinked hard a few times. "It's the chile, it's too spicy." My mom glanced at the untouched food on the table, paused for 2 seconds, and didn't call me out during the meal. My dad brought up the hotel thing again. Are you sure your classmates really don't need a room? They'll definitely be nervous during the college entrance exam those 2 days. If they're staying far away and can't rest well, it could affect their performance. That would be a real problem. I picked up a piece of spare ribs, put it in my mouth, chewed slowly, and didn't answer right away. And my dad is that kind of person, always thinking of others. His whole life, in over a decade of running a hotel, he never once kicked out a guest who couldn't afford the room fee. One year, when heavy snow blocked the roads, hundreds of stranded travelers came down from the highway. All the nearby hotels raised their prices, but only our hotel charged the regular rate and even offered free hot ginger tea and blankets. That incident later made the local news. When a reporter came to interview him, my dad simply said to the camera, "It's tough for everyone when they're away from home. Such a good person was driven to a dead end in his previous life. Dad, they'll arrange it themselves. You don't need to worry." My dad wanted to say something more, but my mom kicked him under the table. All right, you said it's not necessary, so it's not necessary. Why do you have to worry so much? My dad winced in pain from the kick and obediently lowered his head to eat. I watched them, a wave of bitterness swelling in my heart. In my past life, I failed to protect them. This time around, I'll be the one to do it. On the last day before the college entrance exam, I went to school to pick up my admission ticket. There were only a few people scattered in the classroom, all making their final struggles. Chin Yin wasn't there, and neither was Zhao Xiaoma. Only a few boys who usually didn't talk much were sleeping on their desks. I grabbed my admission ticket and walked out, running into Teacher Zhang at the door. "Jiangyu, don't rush to check the answers after the exam. Get some good rest." "I understand, thank you, Teacher Zhang. Also, don't pay attention to those rumors. Just focus on your exams." I nodded and walked out of the teaching building. There were people playing basketball on the field, others lying on the grass soaking up the sun. Everything was so normal that it felt like none of the things from my past life had ever happened, but I know they happened. I remember every detail. On the day of the college entrance exam, my dad got up at 6 in the morning. He wore a red t-shirt, saying it was for good luck. My mom also wore a red dress and even tucked a red envelope into my school bag, containing 66 yuan, saying it meant everything goes smoothly. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but I didn't refuse. The exam venue was indeed very close to home, just a 5-minute walk away. My dad insisted on seeing me off, and since I couldn't talk him out of it, I let him. The entrance to the exam hall was packed with people, students, parents, teachers, police officers, and volunteers, a dense sea of black. Some were crying while holding their admission tickets, some were laughing in their parents' arms, some were cramming by flipping through notes at the last minute, and some were taking deep breaths to calm themselves. I stood in the crowd and took a deep breath. The college entrance exam, here I come. The first exam was Chinese. In my previous life, I scored 112 points, neither bad nor great. This time around, I was fully prepared. The essay topic was inheritance. I wrote about the story of my family's hotel, about my father, a man who treated everyone with kindness his whole life, and about the lessons he taught me. By the time I wrote the last word, my eyes felt a little warm. The second exam was math, my strong suit. In my previous life, I scored 135. This time, I came prepared. I went over all the key points again and practiced the tricky questions countless times. When I handed in my paper, I was confident, at least 140. The third exam was English, the fourth was the comprehensive arts exam. One after another, I grew steadier and smoother with each test. When the bell rang for the final exam, I put down my pen, leaned back in my chair, and let out a long, deep breath. It's over. The college entrance exam is over. When I walked out of the exam hall, the sun was blazing, so bright it made it hard to open my eyes. My dad was waiting for me at the school gate, holding a bouquet of flowers in his hand, his eyes crinkling into a smile. "Yu," he waved at me, excited like a child. I ran over, took the flowers, and gave him a tight hug. "How did the exam go?" he asked. "It's pretty good." That's good, my dad said, patting me on the back. "Come on, Dad will take you out for a big meal." My mom emerged from the side, also holding a bouquet of flowers. Seeing that I was already holding my dad's flowers, she shot him a slightly displeased glare. "You sure ran fast." My dad chuckled twice but didn't dare to say anything. I smiled and took the flowers from my mom, wrapping one arm around each of them as The three of us walked toward the parking lot. After just a few steps, I saw Chen Yin. She was standing at the entrance of the exam hall, surrounded by a few classmates, her expression not looking good. Zhao Xiaoma was saying something beside her, but she shook her head, her eyes red, as if she had been crying. I didn't stop walking and passed by her. She saw me. The moment our eyes met, her expression shifted slightly, and her lips moved as if she wanted to say something. I didn't give her the chance. 3 days after the college entrance exam ended. The results hadn't come out yet, but the internet was already buzzing. Posts about score estimations, answer comparisons, and complaints about the exam questions were flooding in everywhere. I was lounging at home scrolling through my phone, and suddenly, a post caught my eye. The title read, "Never stay at XX hotel during the 2 days of the college entrance exam. The noise is so loud you can't sleep at all." I was taken aback and clicked on it, only to find it was about my family's hotel. The poster's ID was unfamiliar, their profile picture was a flower, and their registration date showed it was 3 days ago. The post read, "I booked this hotel before my college entrance exam, but they were still doing construction after 10 o'clock every night. Drilling and hammering went on until 2 or 3 in the morning. I called the front desk 3 times to complain, and each time they said they'd handle it, but the noise never stopped. The night before the exam, I only got 3 hours of sleep, and my mind was completely foggy during the test the next day. Everyone, steer clear, don't ever stay here." There were already several comments below the post. "Oh my god, this is too much, they're still doing construction during the college entrance exam. I've heard of this hotel, isn't it supposed to be 5-star, and this is the service they offer for a 5-star place. I feel so sorry for the OP, having to deal with this during the college entrance exam. I'd be crying my eyes out. If it were me, file a complaint, call 12345 to report them. Hotels like this deserve to be shut down for a rectification." I stared at the screen, my fingers trembling slightly. In my previous life, Chen Yinyan's post was just like this. She said she was staying at my family's hotel, couldn't sleep because of construction noise in the middle of the night, and ended up performing poorly on her exam the next day. That post started with only a few comments at first, but later someone took a screenshot, posted it on Weibo, and it made it to the trending list. After that, it spiraled out of control. In this life, she didn't stay at my family's hotel. All the rooms in our hotel were sold to strangers, and she stayed somewhere else. But this post still appeared, only this time, the poster had changed their ID and their identity. I took a deep breath and clicked into that ID's profile page. There was only one post, with no other content whatsoever, 0 followers, 0 following, and even the profile picture was the default system flower, a standard bot account. I took a screenshot and sent the link to my dad. "Dad, someone is spreading rumors online that our hotel is under construction during the college entrance exams." He answered the phone instantly, his voice a bit tense. "What? Let me see." After about a minute, my dad called, I saw that post. It's complete nonsense. There wasn't any construction near our hotel during the 2 days of the college entrance exam. Even the municipal government had halted all projects. How could there possibly be noise? I know it's fake, Dad. Don't worry, not many people have seen this post yet, but if we don't handle it, it could spread. I'll contact the lawyer right away and have them deal with it. Okay. After hanging up, I refreshed the post again and noticed that there were already over a dozen new comments. Someone began to question. I stayed at this hotel during my college entrance exams too, and I didn't hear any construction noise. Then someone immediately replied, "Are you a shell hired by the hotel? I've seen this kind of whitewashing tactic too many times." Some people also said, even if there's no construction going on, posting something like this is disgusting enough. Spreading such rumors during the college entrance exam period, aren't you afraid of karma? I read through them one by one, growing calmer with each one. In my past life, when I saw these comments, I was trembling all over, sobbing uncontrollably, desperate to rush through the screen and explain myself to every single person who cursed me. This time, it's different. I know what to do in this life. I opened the class group chat after the college entrance exam. The class group chat was as lively as a market, with hundreds or even thousands of messages every day. Some were planning graduation trips, some were discussing the thank you banquet for teachers, some were sharing funny videos, and some were posting their estimated scores. I scrolled up and saw a message posted by Chin Yin. So annoyed. "I feel like I bombed the math exam. I couldn't solve the last question at all." Below, over a dozen people had replied to comfort her. I scrolled up further and found messages from the day before the college entrance exam. Zhao Xiaoma sent a message, Nian Nian, which hotel are you staying at, is it far from the exam venue? Chen Nian Nian replied, staying at a guest house. It takes about 15 minutes by taxi to the exam venue, a bit far, but I have no choice, all the nearby hotels are fully booked. Lu Yutong replied, it's all Jiang Yu's fault, her family's hotel clearly had rooms available, but she didn't leave any for us. Now everyone's scrambling to find a place to stay. After this message was sent, no one responded. After a while, Zhao Xiaoma sent a sigh emoji, then someone else said, forget it, you can't force someone who doesn't want to help. The tone was casual, but behind that casualness lay a matter-of-fact resentment. I looked at these messages without any ripple in my heart. I left the class group and opened Weibo. That post had indeed been reposted to Weibo. The person who reposted it was a marketing account with a modest following. Around 50 to 60,000. After the post was reposted, it was paired with a sensational headline, during the college entrance exam period, a 5-star hotel's construction disturbed residents, and candidates had no one to turn to for complaints, only managing 3 hours of sleep. The number of reposts has already exceeded 500, and the tone in the comments section is similar to that of the post, with everyone unanimously condemning the hotel's lack of conscience. I took a screenshot and saved it. Then I sent a message to my dad, Dad, the post has been shared on Weibo, and it's already been reposted over 500 times. My dad replied instantly, I've already contacted a lawyer and we're gathering evidence. Also, I had someone check the surveillance footage from the area around the 2 days of the college entrance exam to see if any construction vehicles came in or out. Is there surveillance footage? Yes, there are 2 cameras right at the entrance of our hotel, facing both sides of the road. I've already had someone retrieve the footage from 2 days before and 2 days after the exam. It's crystal clear. There was no construction at all. I breathed a sigh of relief. Dad, don't rush to post it yet. Wait for the lawyer's opinion. Okay, over the next 2 days. The post gained more and more traction. More and more marketing accounts began reposting it, with increasingly sensational headlines. Some even directly claimed that 5-star hotels were disregarding examinees' lives for profit. Easily racking up over 1 million reads, the comments section has completely collapsed. Out of tens of thousands of comments, 99% are cursing our family's hotel. The phone call from the Culture and Tourism Bureau came to my dad's phone, and the tone was very serious, saying they were coming to investigate. The phone call from the Housing and Urban Rural Development Bureau also came, saying they needed to measure the noise. Everything is exactly the same as the previous life, but in this life, what was different was that the guests staying in the hotel did not remain silent. During the 2 days of the college entrance exam, all the guests in our hotel were strangers, some were examinees, and others were parents accompanying them. One of the examinees posted a long post on Weibo with the title, I am one of the examinees who stayed at that hotel during the college entrance exam, and I want to tell the truth. The long post read, I came from out of town to take the exam and booked this hotel a month in advance. I stayed here during the 2 days of the college entrance exam and did not hear any construction noise. The hotel service was excellent. The front desk sister, knowing I had an exam the next day, specially prepared a carton of milk and 2 slices of bread for me, saying it was a complimentary breakfast. I don't know who the person who posted that message is, but I can responsibly say that I stayed here for 2 nights, slept very well, and performed normally on the exam. Please don't ruin the reputation of a good hotel without evidence. After this long post was published, the comment section exploded. Another paid shill. How much did they pay you? The hotel's paid promoters really are everywhere, only registered for 2 days. Clearly a newly created burner account. A 5-star hotel really has money to burn. They even hire such professional trolls. That examinee was cursed out in hundreds of comments, fuming and arguing back in the comment section. I'm not a troll. I'm just a guest who stayed at this hotel, believe it or not. Then he got even more harshly criticized. Watching this farce unfold, I felt an indescribable mix of emotions. In the previous life, not a single one of the 50 classmates staying at my family's hotel spoke up. In this life, the stranger staying at my family's hotel stepped forward to speak, only to be accused of being a paid shill. The internet is like that. People only believe what they want to believe. They need a villain, a target for their anger. The person who posted the rumor gave them a target, and they unhesitatingly shot all their arrows. As for whether the target was truly bad, no one cared. The turning point of the incident occurred on an official account called Notice on Construction Conditions Around College Entrance Exam Venues. That was the official account of the Municipal Education Bureau, which rarely updated and had only a few thousand followers. However, it posted a message on the fourth day after the college entrance examination, regarding the recent online rumors about construction noise from a hotel disturbing residents during the college entrance examination. Our bureau places great importance on this matter. Upon investigation, during the exam period, June 7th to June 9th, our bureau had already required all construction sites within a 2-kilometer radius of the test centers to suspend operations. The hotel is located within this area, and no construction activities were found nearby. This notice is hereby issued. As soon as this notice was released, public opinion began to shift. Some began to question the person who made the post. The authorities have stated there was no construction. So where did the noise mentioned in the post come from? Is it really a rumor? Oh my God, spreading such a rumor during the college entrance exam period is just too malicious, isn't it? OP, care to show yourself? At Blossom in Midsummer, the ID named Blossom in Midsummer had disappeared. The post is still there, but the original poster never showed up again. I clicked in to take a look and found that the comment section of the post had been overrun, with everyone accusing the OP of spreading rumors. Someone dug up the registration time and IP address of this account, discovering that it was registered on the day the college entrance exam ended, with the IP address pointing to a certain residential area in a city. Someone traced the IP address further and found that this residential area was far from the exam venue, making it impossible for the OP to have stayed near that hotel. More and more people began to question. More and more people began to dig deeper. In the end, someone uncovered the true identity behind that ID. It turned out to be a high school senior girl from a financially struggling family, who didn't perform well in the college entrance exam, broke down mentally, and vented online by posting, "It wasn't Chen Yinyan." I stared at the result, stunned. Not Chen Yinyan. I scoured through every post, every comment, every repost, and found no trace of Chen Yinyan's name. She hadn't posted, commented, liked, or done anything at all. She was as if she had vanished. On the day the college entrance exam results came out, I was at home eating watermelon. The results were released at 3 in the afternoon, and I was already in front of the computer at 2:58, my heart beating fast. In my previous life, I scored 561 points, just barely above the first-tier university cutoff. In this life, I am different. At exactly 3 o'clock, I refreshed the page. Total score, 643 points. Chinese, 126, Mathematics, 141, English, 138, Comprehensive Arts, 238. I stared at the numbers on the screen for 5 seconds. Then let out a scream. Mom, Dad, the results are out. My mom rushed out of the kitchen, her hands still wet, her apron covered in oil stains. My dad dashed out of the study, losing one of his slippers along the way. What score? 643. My mom was stunned for a moment, then she hugged me tightly and burst into tears. My dad stood nearby, his eyes red, his lips trembling several times, until finally he could only say, "Good, good, good." He said good 3 times in a row, each one spoken with great force. I hugged my mom, and tears fell as well. In my past life, I couldn't make them proud. In this life, I succeeded. The class group chat exploded completely after the results were announced. Some are happy, some are worried. Screenshots of scores are everywhere. Some boast about scoring 680, while others barely made it past 400. Zhao Xiaoma scored 532 and sent a crying emoji in the group chat. Lu Yutong scored 509, saying she'd be grateful just to get into a second-tier university. Li Xiuan scored 578, which he found quite satisfying, and has already started researching his university preferences. Wang Hao scored 541, sent a single sigh, and then nothing more. Lin Siki scored 498 and directly left the group. I scrolled for a long time but didn't see Chen Yinyan's score. She didn't post anything at all, but someone had mentioned her in the group chat. Nyanyan, what score did you get? Yeah, Nyanyan, you said earlier that you messed up the math exam. How badly did it go? Nyanyan, say something. Chen Nyanyan did not reply. About 10 minutes later, Zhao Xiaoma sent a message in the group. I just called Nyanyan, but she didn't pick up. A few minutes later, Lu Yutong said, I called too, it's turned off. The group fell silent for a moment, and then someone started speculating. It can't be that I really failed, can it? She said earlier that she couldn't solve the last math problem, and also got several big questions wrong. Even so, there's no need to turn off the phone. How much did she actually score? No one knew. I want to know too, not because I care about her, but because I want to confirm something. In the previous life, Chin Yin Yin scored 547 points, which wasn't particularly bad, but she told everyone she had failed, blaming it all on the noise from my house. In this life, she didn't stay at my family's hotel, she stayed at a homestay, a 15-minute drive from the exam venue. What was her score? If she failed the exam, it would at least prove that it had nothing to do with where she lived. But was her own issue. I waited 3 days for this answer. 3 days later, Chin Yin Yin posted a message in the class group chat. I scored 478 points. The group chat went completely silent for a full 10 seconds, then it exploded. What? 478, Nyen Nyen, you can't be serious. You usually score above 550 in your mock exams. What happened? Did you misestimate your score? Do you want to apply for a reevaluation? For 78 points? Nearly 70 points less than in the previous life. I stared at the number, a complex feeling welling up inside me. She really messed up the exam without the noise from my home, without construction disturbances, without any external factors. She still messed up, but I no longer care. I left the class group chat. It wasn't an impulsive decision, it was something I had been thinking about for a long time. I don't need to stay in touch with these people anymore, they don't need my help, and I don't need their gratitude. Between us, we're even. Letting go is more satisfying than holding on. That night, as I lay in bed scrolling through my phone, I suddenly received a private message. It was from Zhao Xiaoma. Jiangyu, why did you leave the group today? I didn't reply. After a while, she sent another message. I know you have issues with us, but we've all been in the same class for 3 years, isn't that a bit much? I still haven't replied. A third message followed right after. Are you upset about the hotel thing? We were just joking around back then. It's not like we actually forced you into anything. I stared at the message, a faint, bitter smile tugging at the corner of my mouth. Just casually talking, and my hotel was reported and shut down. Just casually talking, and my parents' hair turned gray overnight. Just casually talking, and my life was ruined once. The phrase just saying whatever is probably the best excuse in the world. I typed a few words, then deleted them. Forget it, it's not necessary. I deleted Zhao Xiaoma's private message, put my phone on the nightstand, turned over, and closed my eyes. Tomorrow, I am going to visit a university that is very, very far away, so far away that I will never see those faces again. What are your thoughts after hearing this story? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section. I look forward to hearing your voice.